To all my people with credit cards out there, have you ever went to a store and bought something that you really, really wanted and it felt amazing and you could buy it because your credit card has the limit to do so, so you did. But then about a few months later, when it's not paid off and the credit card interest is starting to pile up little by little by little, it starts feeling like it might have not been the best idea to buy that. I want you to keep that concept in mind while we go throughout this video, because that credit card debt, that credit card interest, is like the difference between motivation and discipline. Because when you are motivated, it's like borrowing money against yourself because you're using a source of energy that you don't actually typically have. Whereas discipline is like investing in yourself long term. It's putting that money into that Roth IRA, into your retirement accounts, into whatever it is that you're investing to that you know you're not going to touch, but will consistently compound year after year after year. And that is the difference between motivation and discipline. You see, the reality of this world is that a lot of us get motivated, and it can happen pretty easily too, but very few of us are actually disciplined and are willing to stick it out for the long term in order to see those returns come back. The thing to keep in mind when it comes to motivation and discipline is that you want to be a constant source, because at the end of the day, consistency is much more important than a burst of energy. Think about the difference between a flashlight and a lighthouse. A flashlight gives you this strong beam of light for a certain distance and for a certain amount of time until the battery runs out. Where a lighthouse is a constant beam of light, a constant beam of energy, consistently showing you the way to navigate the rough waters. So I want you to think about some of the most successful people, or the people that we consider at the top of the game for their respective profession. If you're thinking about YouTube, maybe you're thinking about Mr. Beast. If you're thinking about sports, maybe you think of people like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. What about Tom Brady? These people have one major thing in common, and that's discipline. As you may know, when Mr. Beast started out doing YouTube, it's not like he just blew up. He was in this game for years before he actually started getting some momentum and blowing up. Same thing can apply to people like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Tom Brady. Think about all of their paths. Kobe, even though he was a top drafted prospect, ended up coming in the league and playing on the bench. And he sat there and played terribly at times before he was finally given the opportunity to show what he's capable of doing. But he wasn't given this opportunity just because. He was given this opportunity because every day he showed up earlier than everybody, he stayed longer than everybody, he worked harder than everybody, and he honed his craft regardless of what the outcome looked like in that moment. Look at Michael Jordan, who was cut from his high school team and is now almost universally, besides all the LeBron lovers, universally accepted as the greatest of all time in basketball. Someone who couldn't even make their high school basketball team ended up being the greatest basketball player of all time. Let's look at Tom Brady. If you know anything about Tom Brady, you know that this man is extremely disciplined. The type of diet, the type of exercise, the type of people he kept around him, all of a specific caliber, all aligned on the same goal, which is to reach the top, the peak. The one thing we should constantly be striving to do is to find consistency in our life, because consistency is one of the most powerful tools that you can use in order to make sure that you get to where you want to get to. However, funny enough, it can also be used to set you back as far as humanly possible. And that's because consistency can go both ways. Both you and I have woken up today, but I may have woken up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and you may have woken up at 8. Both you and I are eating food today, but I may be eating a bunch of trash food and you may be eating things that are healthy, nourishing, and give your body energy and giving it longevity. Both you and I will more than likely be drinking some type of beverage. My beverages could be full of alcohol or God knows what other chemicals, and your beverage could be water or things that are nourishing to your body. The thing is, we're already disciplined, but are we disciplined in the right direction or the wrong direction? Because all of us have habits and all of us have things that we do consistently. But what you should strive to be consistent in are the best things in life. You see, we're all given a blessing every single day. of being alive and having the ability to do things that other people may not be in the position to do. And I don't know about you, but I used to take everything for granted. I used to take the fact that I could breathe for granted, the fact that I can walk for granted, the fact that I can get up and go get something for myself instead of asking someone else to do it for granted. But as you grow up and as you go through life, you realize how blessed you truly are. But realizing it is not enough. Taking action on the realization of how blessed you are is the true measure of appreciation. Because the only way you can appreciate something, truly appreciate it, is by using it. And if you're not using it, then you're not really appreciating it. We've all watched things that have lit a fire within us, but that fire is able to be extinguished. I want you to strive to be like a thermostat, something that you can set and stay consistent in. When you find that level of consistency and you compound that with good habits, the only thing that you'll be building up are things that can be exponentially developed. Because the reality is, when you are in alignment about the good things in your life and you're working towards consistency in all of them, they work synergistically and they start to propel you at a rate that you couldn't even imagine. But you won't even be able to tap into that unless you're able to get aligned on this very first topic, which is finding the way to become disciplined. Hold yourself to the highest level of accountability, because nobody wants to do every difficult thing in this world. But some people will go through a ton of difficult things day in and day out and will stay consistent. And because of that discipline, they'll reach heights you will never know. And the only difference between you and the people that I mentioned, Mr. Beast, Kobe, Michael, Tom Brady, is that they were disciplined enough to hold themselves accountable and to go do the hard work even when it wasn't fun, even when they weren't feeling like it, even when they were down and just had no energy to give. So be that person. Give yourself the opportunity to become the very best version of you. I'm going to leave you with one last thought, and that thought is the restrictiveness versus freedom debate that sometimes people will discuss about discipline. Sometimes people feel like if you are disciplined, it restricts you because you're doing the same type of thing every day, and therefore there is no flexibility within your day or within your life. But really think about that. If you're disciplined and you know exactly what you're going to be doing day in, day out, then think about how much time you have in the middle to work with. And you don't even have to make decisions anymore because you are on autopilot. You're literally on autopilot. Day in, day out, you're doing the same thing. Meaning you don't have to sit there and think, should I go to the gym? Should I eat this type of food or that type of food? You know, you're already aware. You are that human. Practice utilizing that type of mindset. If you do, I guarantee that you'll have nothing but positivity that comes out of that, regardless of the short-term hurt that you're going to be feeling because you're implementing new things that your body, your mind, your emotional capacity is not used to handling yet. Thank you again for joining me on another episode of All That Matters. I have been having so much fun doing these videos for you guys and being able to hear some feedback from you guys, so I appreciate it. But one thing I need to address. Most of y'all that are watching are not subscribed. If you're watching the video, subscribe to it. I mean, not to the video itself, obviously, but to me as the creator, because it would help a lot getting these messages out and letting other people hear these things. But also, I obviously have a goal myself. I'm staying disciplined myself. I'm hungry, I want to succeed in this YouTube thing. And I can only succeed with your help. So if you have not subscribed, please subscribe. And do me a favor and share some comments below on what you do to stay disciplined or the type of habits that you think you practice every day that other people could practice as well that could be beneficial. Thank you so much for your time, for your energy. I do not take this time with you for granted. I appreciate every single one of you guys. I'll talk to you on the next one. You know what it is. Peace.